Hi there, Year 9s. In this video, we're looking at drawing and interpreting bar graphs. So in this first example, we're looking at figures from a survey about listening habits of people. And these are the different radio stations and the number of people that listen to them. The first question says, which of these scales, so these ones here, which of these would be the most suitable scale? So 1 centimetre equals 1 listener. Well, if that was the case, then we'd have a x-axis that's 65 centimetres long, which is about 3 times as long as your page, so no, that's not going to work. 10 centimetres per listener, well 65, that would become 650, which is 6.5 metres, and so that wouldn't even fit in our classroom. So that really only leaves 1 centimetre equals 10 listeners, and that would mean that would have to be 6.5 centimetres long, which is far more realistic. Now you might have noticed here I've made the scale of what 1 centimetre is, and so we're going to be using that for our scale. So let me draw in my y-axis. So I'll do a straight line for that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 should be enough. I'll go one more just in case. There we go. 7 on my y-axis, and whoops, on my x-axis we'll need space for 3 bars, so I'll just draw it along there and we can put the bars in later. Okay, so x and y-axis. Okay, so I'm going to split it up into 3 sections, so that there can be my first bar. I'll make it slightly wider actually, my first bar. There's my second bar space, and that can be my third bar space. And so I'm just making sure that they're set apart. So first of all, we'll have AM National Program. AM National Program. And then we've got AM News Talkback. AM News and Talkback. And then the last one is FM Music. Okay, and so for my first bar, because I've got 6 and I'm doing 1 centimetre equals 10 listeners, then that's going to go only 0.6 high. So when I draw my graph, it can only go to about 0.6, which is what that is going to there. And so we'll draw that up to there. Whoops, that's a bit wonky, but we'll live with that. And then we need to join them as well. So let's join them at the top. There we go. I might have to drag that down. It doesn't want to. I'll have to freehand it. There we go. All right. And then AM News Talkback, there's 29, so that's going to be about 3 centimetres high, just under 3 centimetres. Okay, so we'll start there. 1, 2, 3, and just a little bit under 3, about there. We'll do the same. Oops. We'll do the same over here as well. Okay, and I'll probably have to just freehand that too. Now yeah, that's more like 29 there, so I'll just colour in the top of my graph there. And then FM Music 65, so that's going to be 6.5 centimetres. So let's go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the same on this side. 5, 6.5. And drawing that across the top. There we go. Okay, so there's our 3 bars of our graph. So there's a few things missing at the moment, and one of those is a scale. And so I need to put in my scale here. So that was 10 listeners, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, so I can see here that I made my last bar too short, so better just sort that last bar out. I need to bring that up to 65, and we'll stretch these ones up the side if it will let me. There we go. We'll do the same with this one as well. That's better. Okay. So I've got a scale in there, but I also need to say what that scale is. So that's the number of listeners. So I'll write that in. Number of listeners. Okay. I need to say what this stuff down here is. And so that's the type of radio that they're listening to. So type of radio. Station, I suppose. Okay. And finally, we need a heading for this. So this information is about the number of people listening to different types of radios. So we'll write that up. Number of people listening to different kinds of stations. Okay, and there we are. There's our finished product. Now, if I could just make some points that you need to make sure that you have whenever you're doing a bar graph. You need to make sure that you use a ruler. That's very important. You also need to make sure that you label your axes, and you need to make sure that you have a title. And with a bar graph, you need to make sure that the bars are not touching. Okay, because if they do touch, it's a histogram. So bars do not touch. Okay, so make sure you keep those points in mind when you are doing a bar graph, and make it very nice and tidy, so that I don't have to ask you to do it again.